The American Revolution was a defining moment in history, a struggle for freedom that changed the course of the world. Let's dive into this extraordinary story of bravery, resilience, and independence. In the mid-18th century, 13 American colonies were under British rule. While they prospered, tensions grew as Britain imposed heavy taxes and restrictive laws. The colonists, who had no representation in the British Parliament, saw these acts as unjust. The cry of "no taxation without representation" spread like wildfire. In 1770, tensions reached a boiling point. British soldiers fired on a crowd of colonists in what became known as the Boston Massacre. The tragedy fueled outrage, and resistance to British rule intensified. 3 years later, in 1773, the Boston Tea Party became a bold act of defiance. American patriots, disguised as Native Americans, boarded British ships and dumped an entire shipment of tea into the Boston harbor to protest taxation. Britain responded with harsh laws, further pushing the colonies toward rebellion. By 1775, the situation had reached the point of no return. The first shots of the Revolution rang out in Lexington and Concord. The American militias, known as the Minutemen, stood against British troops, proving that they would fight for their freedom. As the war began, a group of colonial leaders gathered in Philadelphia. On July 4th, 1776, they signed the Declaration of Independence, a document that declared the colonies free from British rule. This moment marked the birth of the United States of America. But independence would not come easily. The revolutionaries faced the might of the British Army, the most powerful military force of the time. General George Washington led the Continental Army through hardship, enduring bitter winters and staggering losses. In the winter of 1777 at Valley Forge, Washington's troops faced brutal conditions, freezing temperatures, hunger, and disease. But they emerged stronger, thanks to training from European officers like Baron von Steuben, transforming them into a formidable fighting force. The turning point of the war came in 1777 at the Battle of Saratoga. The American victory convinced France to openly support the revolution, providing much-needed military aid and supplies. This alliance changed the course of the war. For years, battles raged across the colonies. The British won some, but the Americans refused to give up. Then, in 1781, the final blow was struck. At Yorktown, American and French forces surrounded British General Cornwallis, forcing him to surrender. The war was over. 2 years later, in 1783, the Treaty of Paris was signed, officially recognizing the United States as an independent nation. The revolution had succeeded, and the world had witnessed the birth of a new democracy. The American Revolution was more than just a war. It was a fight for the ideals of liberty, self-governance, and justice. It inspired revolutions across the globe and shaped the future of democracy. The legacy of the revolution lives on today. It reminds us of the power of unity, the courage to stand for one's beliefs, and the enduring value of freedom. The story of America's fight for independence is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit.